and welcome back to my channel. My name's Ella and today we will talk about all the books I read in March. Spoiler, it was quite a lot. We have a little guest today. This is my friend's dog, Lenny. He's excited to be here. He's getting some cuddles. He was home alone and I kind of just stole him from home because my friend lives like 2 streets over and I decided to steal her pup. He's keeping me some company today. He's the cutest bean ever. I steal him all the time and oh. Hachi! Hachi! You good? I guess. Back to the books. I read 17 books in the month of March and only 4 were physical copies. Everything else was on my e-reader. I was on the road for pretty much all of March. I have not been home more than I think 5 days in March. But let's get into it. Let's start with the books that I read. Since I haven't been home, I really tried to get all of the physical books done in the past couple days and I have definitely failed. I had so many books on my March TBR. I have read quite a few of those, but mostly just the ebooks. But I have read Broken Bonds and I don't know how to explain it, but the book couldn't catch me. It could not catch me. The first 300 pages I was just so confused. I was like, what is going on? I could understand her. I could kind of understand the others and so the book is about our main girl Ollie, and she ran away from her home a couple years ago, but she was found, and in this book they all have bonds, which means it's basically people you are supposed to get together with. She has 5, I believe. And they're all idiots. They're all assholes, pretty much. So one of the guys is kind of decent, but also kind of not. And the others are just... I really know. So really the first 300 pages I was just so confused. I had no clue how to, like, what was going on, how to get into the story. And then the last 100 and I don't know how many pages were pretty good. But when I finished it, I was like, okay, that's it. And I don't think I can be bothered to read the rest of the series. I was so excited for this book. I heard so many good things and I couldn't care. I couldn't connect to the characters because I did understand the way she reacted. I did understand the way she talked about things, but I couldn't care. I did not have it in me to care and to understand her, really. And the guys were all just awful. This was the first disappointment of the month, but I did have a pretty good month in general, so this might actually be the only disappointment. Next up I read How the King of Elfhame Learned to Hate Stories, and this book was so cute. This is set after the Cruel Prince trilogy. These are just some short stories about Cardan and it is illustrated so beautifully. I really enjoyed reading this and it was such a quick read. It was just really skinny, mostly illustrated, and let me show you. Like, it is really done beautifully. And the whole story is like, it was a couple short stories and they were all so intriguing and I just loved Cardan. So this was the perfect ending to the series. Let's get into the last physical books I read, and these were Holding the Reins and Training the Heart, both by Paisley Hope, and this is book number 1, this is book number 2 in this series. I believe book number 3 is coming out soon or it just came out. Not 100% sure. But I read both of these on my trip and they're both set in Kentucky. These are both kind of cowboy romances and it was just the best. Holding the Rein follows Cece and Nash, and Cece escaped a toxic relationship and moves back into her hometown in Kentucky, and she kind of runs into Nash again. They know each other from the past, and I think Nash is the best friend of her brother. He's an ex-hockey player and he's turning into a cowboy. And he's just so sweet. The way he's treating her, the way he's just interacting with the whole town and everything, it's just absolutely perfect. And on my trip, I was like 10 minutes away, maybe 20 from Kentucky. So reading this so close to Kentucky and actually visiting Kentucky and seeing all the ranches, this was just the perfect read, and it was just so good. And I love the way that Cece and Nash vibe with one another, and her whole like story with her ex, and just Nash's background as well. And it's just such a good book. Book number 2 follows Cece's brother. His name is Wade, and he kind of reminds me a little bit of Cade from Chestnut Springs. He is such a grumpy guy, and like he wants to get everything done by himself and running the ranch by himself, and just grumpy and kind of like demanding, and just such a good book character. I love Wade. She moves to Kentucky to fulfill her dream to train racehorses, and ends up helping Wade on his ranch. And he's so grumpy and demanding and just shit, but he treats her so well at the same time, and the things he does for her. It was just such a good read, and I enjoyed reading this so much, and just the whole ranch vibes, and just it was just so good. I enjoyed this very much. Let's continue with all the books I read on my Kindle during my trip, and it's a lot of ebooks. So much to me finishing my TBR, or at least trying, did not work, but oh well. So next up we have Live Ranch Love by Emma Lucy. This book is about a fitness influencer. I believe her name's Rory. She inherits the ranch from, I think, her aunt. Our male main character, he runs the ranch, and our girl, she is a fitness influencer, like a yoga self-care influencer. And she inherits the ranch and goes there with the intention to sell it, but when she gets there, she makes an arrangement with him, and so she turns the ranch into like a wellness retreat, and he helps her, and he can still run the ranch with the horses and everything. And at first they don't really get along because she goes there with the intention to sell it, and he works it. It's his whole life, and you get to know them both quite a lot. You get to know him a lot with his backstory and his family and everything, and it was such a good and such a quick read. Because I couldn't get enough of cowboy romances this month, I also read The Frontrunner by Elsie Silver. This is book number 3 in the Gold Rush Ranch series, and I believe this might actually be my favorite of the series. And this series is her first book series. It is set basically prior to Chestnut Springs, and in this book you have Mira and Stefan, and you met them already in the books before, especially Stefan. Stefan is enemy number 1 of the whole Gold Rush Ranch, basically. Mira is a vet, and she takes care of the horses, and one of the foals is not doing so well, and he has a mare that can help like nurse the foal. So they make an arrangement. He accepts taking in the foal and like taking care of it with his horse and everything if she goes on 3 dates with him. So she agrees. Seeing her hate kind of melt off slowly, and him developing even more, and he was never like such a bad guy, the way he was like portrayed and everything, but just seeing him like develop even more was just really cool, and I enjoyed this book a lot. Next up I read The Charlie Method by Elle Kennedy, and oh my god, I was so excited for this book. I have not read a single Elle Kennedy book that I did not like, and this did not disappoint as well. I ate this up. This was so good. So in this book you have Charlie, and the whole story kind of also bases on her story a little bit, because she was adopted, and in this book she finds out more about her story and her backstory and her where she comes from and everything a little bit more, and it's such a good development with her, but the main story is about Charlie and Will, but also Beckett. The whole book is about Charlie, Will, and Beckett. This is White Shoes, like campus romance White Shoes. If I'm not fully wrong, the guys are also hockey players. It was such a good story, and they meet on like a dating app, and she's really to the world. She's this good girl and everything, but she doesn't like it, so she had like her little hidden personality and tries to hide it from everyone. But Will and Beckett get to meet that hidden personality and help her show the world more like who she really is, and they're just the cutest ever, and I enjoyed reading that book so much. Another sports romance I read was Heavy Hitter. I did read this in paperback, but I stole my friend's copy, and that is still in the US. She is a worldwide, like world-known, really famous singer, and he's a baseball player, and it's a really short book. It's kind of spicy, but not too much, and they meet on a whim, and really just 200 pages of funsies and cute moments, and just it's really such a good sports romance. And I recently got into baseball. I finally understand the game, so reading this was just perfect. This month really was my month of sports romance and cowboy romance, because I have another sports romance. This is about a quarterback and their social media manager. These two are really the cutest ever, and she is from Canada and working for this football team, doing their social media, their marketing and stuff. She forgets to renew her work visa, so she gets deported back to Canada. She has about 60 days to leave the country, and her only option basically is marrying him. Like, he always had like a thing for her, and she kind of hates him for some reason, but she slowly like starts to lose her attitude towards him and notices like really what a good guy he is and how he's treating her and what he's always like done for her. And it's just such a good read, and I enjoyed this so much. This is also closed door, so that was such a quick read. It was not spicy or anything, which I loved, and it was just really sweet and really cute and a super quick read. Since we just had a closed door romance, let's continue with a really smutty one. This is Tell Me Lies by Hannah Gray, and let me tell you, this book was incredible. Our lovely guy is a hockey player, and he has a little daughter, and he gets a little bit overwhelmed because he's a single dad trying to make it all work with his hockey, with the child and everything. And our girl here, she's a smutty writer. So her inspiration leaves her due to an accident where her dad passed away, and she also got out of her last relationship. I'm not sure if she broke up with him or he did with her, but not the point. Anyway, she's not in the relationship anymore. Her dad had passed away in a tragic accident, and since then the inspiration just left. So she's been struggling with writing, and her friend sets her up to be the nanny of his daughter. And when he finds out that her inspiration has lost, he offers to help her out with the smutty scenes for inspiration. But yeah, this was such a quick read, this was such a good read, and it was really spicy, but it was so good. I enjoyed it so much, and just also the moments with his daughter and everything, they were so cute. Next up we have Face Off by Chelsea Curto, and this book was so good as well. This is another ice hockey team. Emmy gets promoted to the NHL. She's on the men's roster, and Maverick is on that team already. He's kind of, you know, set in his opinions at first, and just he thinks that Emmy, her actual name is Emerson, is a guy. He doesn't watch the game tapes or anything, so when she shows up, he's a huge asshole to her, thinking she's just like a puck bunny or whatever. And now they're on the same team, and at first they don't play well together and everything, and slowly the hate between them kind of melts off and everything. And just seeing them both being hockey players and both being like ambitious with the sport and everything, but then also them hitting off in private kind of was such a good read, and I totally loved this book too. We have one more sports romance. Offside by Avery Keelan, and this was a college hockey. Bailey was dating Luke, I believe his name was Luke, and he kind of breaks up with her. He's like, it's not serious, it's not gonna last and everything, and so he dumps her, and she kind of runs into Chase. Chase is on the opposite team, and the whole team of her ex and her brother's also in the team. They kind of really hate Chase and everything, and she kind of gets saved by him from like a uncomfortable situation with Luke and everything, and they kind of hit it off. So she's dating the enemy of her brother and everything, and it's also such a good book. It's really Wattpad-y. I believe this book is also from Wattpad. So this also says The Ways Winner. So I believe this is from Wattpad. And you can tell a little bit in the writing, but still, I ate this up in no time. And it was such a quick like college hockey romance read, and it was just really, really good. We made it through the cowboy romances and we made it through the sports romances. So next up we have duck romance. Because I read Conclave by Penelope Douglas. This is a super short novella between Killswitch and Nightfall, book number 3 and 4 of the Devil's Night series. This has like about 100 pages, and honestly nothing really happens besides just getting to know the characters just a little bit more and like seeing 1 or 2 more scenes in the book. This is set from Damon's perspective mostly, I think, and it was really just such a super quick read. I read this on my plane to the United States, and I read this in less than 1 hour because it was just so quick and easy to read, and it was really, really good. And if you do love Damon, you will love this as well. Next up we have Scarlet Angel by S.T. Abbey. This is book number 3 of the Mindfuck series. But we also have book number 4 of the Mindfuck series, All the Lies. And also Paint It All Red by S.T. Abbey. We finished the Mindfuck series, book number 3, 4, and 5. And this series, it has been with me for quite a time. I think I started this in January, I believe, and it was such a good read, and I enjoyed this so much. This was really so good, and the whole series is about an FBI profiler looking for a serial killer, and he is dating said serial killer, and she's just so good at like hiding all, and like this is like such a huge like mindfuck games really, and getting revenge in a way but trying to still stay sane through it all. And the way he is looking for that serial killer, has no clues, and then the way it all shifts, and I don't want to spoil anything, but it's really, really, really good. And I loved the way it went through all the couple books. Like, it was so good, and by the end I was just so into it, and I was so sad to have it end, but I'm just so happy I read it, and it was so good too. We made it to the last book of my March wrap-up. I can't believe how many books I read, and really besides Broken Bonds, they were all so good. I loved it. But the last book that I read was actually the first book I read in March, and it is Phantasma by Kaylee Smith. This is a dark fantasy, so kind of dark romance, kind of fantasy, and it's about this whole game that is so deathly. It's called Phantasma. Ophelia joins the game to save her sister, and in the game she meets this phantom ghost kind of person. His name is Blackwell, and he helps her get a little bit through the game, and she really tries her best to win the game so she can save her sister and everything. And the whole way that this story like develops and just everything that happens in there was so good. I was so shocked by a bunch of like plot twists that happened, and I was so into it that I really love this. I do love a book that is a little bit more on the dark side, especially like a dark fantasy is always just so good, and this really hit the spot. And if you're into dark fantasy, you will love this too. That was my wrap up. Let me know what your favorite book of March was. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys soon.